Hey there, spooky enthusiasts. Welcome to A Quick Note, your go-to channel for intriguing tales and mysteries. Today we're diving into the shadowy world of urban legends, and there's no better place to start than with the mysterious and spine-chilling Bloody Mary. Before we unravel the secrets behind the mirror summoning ritual, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more gripping content, and let's get ready to uncover the enigma of Bloody Mary. It's the cool year 1999, and you're crashing at a friend's sleepover bash. The blockbuster movies have all been watched, and the gang is itching for some late-night excitement. As the clock approaches midnight, one of your buddies spills the beans about a mysterious game she heard about through the grapevine. A friend of a friend's story, if you will. She's been curious, but too scared to try it alone. The gang follows her lead as she guides everyone into the bathroom, flicks off the lights, and shuts the door. In the dimly lit bathroom, your friend spills the beans about the rules. You've got to gaze into the mirror and chant Bloody Mary 3 times. Supposedly, if you nail the ritual, the ghost of Bloody Mary herself will make a cameo in the mirror. Skeptical yet intrigued, your crew stands huddled in the tight bathroom space. With a mix of nerves and excitement, you all start chanting, "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary," while staring into the dark mirror. The initial laughter dies down and the room becomes still. Your eyes stay glued to the mirror, the suspense building. After a moment, you find yourself squinting, questioning if your eyes are messing with you. Are you losing your mind, or is there really a woman standing in the room with you? The chill runs down your spine as you ponder the mysterious outcome of this late-night adventure. Let's play a game. So, does this scenario sound familiar? Back in the 1970s, the spooky game of Bloody Mary started making the rounds, and many of us born before 2000 likely dipped our toes into its eerie waters during childhood. The go-to version involves huddling in a dark room with a mirror, chanting Bloody Mary either 3 or 13 times, and then eagerly waiting for her ghostly presence to make an appearance. Some claim her ghost belts out a bone-chilling scream upon being summoned, while others tell tales of mysterious bruises and scratches on their arms. And then there are those who swear they actually saw the shadowy figure of a woman sharing the room with them. What's fascinating about Bloody Mary is that it gained popularity before the internet era. Its widespread fame is a testament to the power of good old friend-of-a-friend storytelling. You know, those tales that spread like wildfire without the help of online platforms. The fact that Bloody Mary was a hit among young girls specifically adds an intriguing yet unexplained twist to this mirror game's mystique. The allure of the unknown, fueled by stories passed on in whispers, kept the legend alive and kicking, creating a spooky legacy that still lingers in our childhood memories. In an earlier and less talked-about version of the Bloody Mary game, things took a different turn. The player, armed with a candle in one hand and a mirror in the other, would make a spine-tingling journey backward up a staircase while chanting the infamous words Bloody Mary. The twist? The mirror supposedly revealed one of 2 things. If the player glimpsed the image of a man, it was like catching a sneak peek of her future husband. However, if the Grim Reaper made an appearance, it was a chilling sign that she was destined to meet her end before walking down the aisle. Unlike the more familiar version, Bloody Mary herself didn't pop up in this ritual. Instead, she was summoned to spill the beans about the player's future, a mysterious blend of love and fate. So is Bloody Mary a vengeful spirit seeking payback, or a fortune teller assisting young girls in matters of the heart? Some questions about Bloody Mary remain unanswered, but the identity of the woman summoned in these eerie rites remains a topic of debate. And among the top contenders, a long-departed English queen, adding an extra layer of historical mystery to this age-old game. So, who is the real Bloody Mary? Let's dive into history. One popular candidate for the enigmatic Bloody Mary is Mary I, the Queen of England and Ireland. Her reign stretched from 1553 to 1558, and she earned the unfortunate nickname of Bloody Mary long before the spooky urban legend took off. Mary's life carried its share of hardships. She was the eldest child of Henry VIII, the infamous king known for his many marriages. Mary's mother, Catherine of Aragon, was the first wife who survived into adulthood. Henry, seeking a male heir, was dissatisfied when Catherine didn't provide one. Desperate for an annulment, Henry asked Pope Clement VII for permission, but the Pope declined. Unfazed, Henry broke ties with Rome, declared himself the supreme head of the Church of England, annulled his marriage with Catherine, and married Anne Boleyn. This upheaval left Mary illegitimate, and her place in the line of succession went to her new half-sister Elizabeth, born from Henry's second marriage. Henry's actions sparked the English Reformation, shaking up the religious landscape. In 1534, Henry, once a devout Catholic, enacted the Treasons Act, making it a capital offense to question his authority over the Church of England. The estimated number of executions during Henry's 36-year reign is debated, but it hovers around 57,000. The majority faced execution for heresy, treason, or denying Henry's role as the supreme head of the Church of England. Mary Thun's connection to this tumultuous period in history adds a layer of complexity to the mystery of Bloody Mary, making her a compelling figure in the search for the woman behind the legend. Mary witnessed her father, Henry VIII, go through a whirlwind of 6 marriages, even involving the execution of 2 of his wives before his death in 1547. The throne then passed to her half-brother, the young Edward VI, born from Henry's 3rd marriage to Jane Seymour. Unfortunately, Edward's reign was short-lived. He became king at the tender age of 10 and succumbed to a terminal illness just 5 years later. During Edward's rule, John Dudley, 1st Duke of Northumberland, held sway over the government. He manipulated Edward's will to favor his daughter-in-law, Lady Jane Grey, skipping over Mary and Elizabeth, the king's half-sisters. The Duke's plan was to secure Jane's claim to the throne and, in turn, eliminate any potential support for Mary, who had already started rallying allies upon learning of Edward's death. However, the Privy Council switched loyalties from Jane to Mary, orchestrated by Henry FitzAlan, 12th Earl of Arundel, leading to Jane being declared an usurper. The consequence was harsh. At just 16 or 17 years old, Jane faced charges of high treason and met her end at the Tower of London. In 1553, Mary finally ascended to the throne as queen, and her first order of business was to revert England back to Catholicism. This move was welcomed by citizens who clung to their Catholic beliefs during the reigns of Henry and Edward. However, much like her father, Mary was about to embark on a tumultuous path of her own, marked by a series of challenging events. During her 5-year reign, Queen Mary I, also known as Bloody Mary, infamously ordered the burning alive of over 300 religious dissenters at the stake. This dark period in Tudor history became known as the Marian persecutions, and was meticulously chronicled by John Foxe in his 1563 Book of Martyrs. However, the accuracy of some of Foxe's accounts has faced scrutiny. Despite covering various historical periods, it was the chapters detailing Mary's reign and the vivid woodcuts depicting the executions that garnered the most attention. By the late 1600s, the Book of Martyrs had undergone condensation, emphasizing the most brutal episodes of martyrdom, particularly highlighting the Marian persecutions. This narrative solidified Mary's place in history as a tyrant, and earned her the infamous moniker Bloody Mary. Mary passed away in 1558 at the age of 42, potentially due to uterine cancer. Her life was marked by struggles, including irregular menstruation, abdominal pain, and depression. Her mental health likely suffered from the tumultuous fallout of her parents' marriage and her separation from her mother, Catherine, after Henry's annulment. Despite marrying at 37, Mary was unable to produce an heir and experienced false pregnancies. The lack of an heir led to the succession of her half-sister Elizabeth. Mary's efforts to revert England back to Catholicism were ultimately undone by Elizabeth, who reinstated Protestantism. Mary had wished to be buried beside her mother, but her request was denied. Instead, she rests beside Elizabeth in Westminster Abbey. Upon Mary's death, there were reportedly celebrations in the streets, and bells rang throughout the city. The anniversary of her death was commemorated as a holiday for years, reflecting the negative impact her reign left on the English people. However, it's essential to note that the Tudor family as a whole had a penchant for executions. Their reign saw a significant number of people put to death, and Mary was not the sole bloody Tudor. The complex web of family history and political dynamics contributed to a turbulent period in English history. If not Mary Tudor, then who? So is Queen Mary I the Bloody Mary we summon in the mirror? Or is she only tied to the urban legend because of her unfortunate nickname? She's definitely a strong contender, but if you aren't convinced, there are 2 other women in the great Bloody Mary debate up for your consideration. Mary Worth, American Witch. The second candidate in the Bloody Mary saga presents a mysterious woman with 2 possible identities. One tale of Mary Worth claims she lived during the 19th century, where she allegedly committed heinous acts by killing slaves attempting to escape via the Underground Railroad. According to this version, Mary was believed to be a witch, using the murdered slaves in dark rituals. Eventually, the people in her town sought justice for her crimes, leading to her demise. The details of her end vary depending on the storyteller. She was either hung from a tree on her own property or burned at the stake. The alternate narrative of Mary Worth takes us back to the 17th century, during the infamous Salem witch trials. In this version, Mary Worth is portrayed as a woman accused of witchcraft in a dark chapter of history. This variation of the Bloody Mary story was recounted by Deborah Laverty in the Indiana State University Folklore Archives in the autumn of 1970. The ambiguity and multiple accounts surrounding Mary Worth add layers of mystery to the Bloody Mary legend. Whether she is a vengeful figure from the 19th century or a victim of the Salem witch trials, the haunting story of Mary Worth continues to capture imaginations, blending elements of history, folklore, and the supernatural. Elizabeth Bathory, Hungarian vampire. The inclusion of Hungarian Countess Elizabeth Bathory in the Bloody Mary discussion might seem perplexing at first, given that her name isn't Mary. However, upon delving into her chilling story, the connection becomes clearer. Born in 1560, Elizabeth Bathory stands accused of a gruesome spree, allegedly torturing and killing approximately 650 girls and women over a harrowing 20-year period. Her arrest on December 12, 1610, and subsequent confinement to her castle on January 25, 1611, mark the end of her reign of terror. The narrative around Elizabeth Bathory is shrouded in controversy, with some arguing that she was wrongly accused, asserting that the gruesome rumors were politically motivated. Others cast doubt on the validity of the testimonies presented during her trial. On the darker side, many believe that Elizabeth's bloody deeds were indeed true, suggesting that her victims were virgins, and that she bathed in their blood in a macabre attempt to retain eternal youth. This unsettling reputation even led some to label her as a vampire. Whether the accusations against Elizabeth Bathory were politically driven based on questionable testimonies or rooted in a horrifying reality, her story adds a layer of horror to the Bloody Mary mythos. If Elizabeth Bathory were to be considered a candidate for Bloody Mary, perhaps it's best to let her remain confined to the mirrors of history, a haunting figure that echoes the darkness of centuries past. Are there really monsters in our mirrors? Have you ever found yourself staring into a mirror at night, only to feel a shiver down your spine as if there's something lurking behind you? Fear not, you're not going crazy. There's a scientific explanation for this eerie phenomenon called the Troxler Effect. Discovered by Swiss physician Ignaz Troxler in 1804, it sheds light on why gazing into a mirror can occasionally warp your surroundings into something unnatural and downright terrifying. The Troxler Effect is an optical illusion that kicks in when you fix your gaze on a specific spot for a brief period, causing everything around that point to vanish, fade, or morph in some peculiar way. Picture the lilac chaser or Pac-Man illusion created by Jeremy Hinton, where staring at a particular spot makes lilac discs disappear, only to be replaced by a green disc in the empty space. When you lock eyes with your reflection in a dimly lit room, a similar illusion can be triggered. As the lilac discs vanish and the green one emerges, the area around your face and body may gradually distort. In some instances, this distortion might convince your brain that there's someone or something else in the room with you, perhaps even invoking thoughts of Bloody Mary. Rest assured, you're not glimpsing a ghost. It's just how our brains filter out information, sometimes making ordinary things seem warped and even frightening when not in direct focus. This curious play of perception could be one reason why mirror games are so popular. There's a chance you might perceive something out of the ordinary, all thanks to the intriguing workings of our minds. A mystery unsolved. The enigma of Bloody Mary remains unsolved, mainly due to the murky origins of this chilling urban legend. With no direct link to the first players of the game, the identity of the figure summoned in the mirror remains elusive. It's impossible to ascertain who these early players believed they were conjuring, or who might have been revealed as their future husband. Even the proposed candidates for the title of Bloody Mary, including figures like Elizabeth Bathory, don't seamlessly align with the legend's narrative. The question arises, if the tale is rooted in her gruesome acts, why isn't it named Bloody Elizabeth? The ambiguity deepens when considering the possibility that Mary might not represent anyone specific. It could be tied to an old forgotten ghost story, or perhaps inspired by a real-life small-town killer, or a particularly harsh teacher. Urban legends thrive on uncertainty, and the true origin often remains elusive. The next time you decide to play Bloody Mary, consider asking the woman in the mirror what her actual name is. It might bring some clarity to the haunting mystery that has captivated imaginations for generations. After all, in the world of urban legends, the answers are rarely straightforward, and the truth behind the legend may forever remain veiled in uncertainty. And there you have it, folks, the mysterious and elusive tale of Bloody Mary. If you enjoyed this quick dive into the world of urban legends, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to A Quick Note for more intriguing stories, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on our next quick exploration. Until next time, stay curious and keep those lights on.